This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's Worst 250 so you don't have to.
My name is Abigail Ward.
And I'm Michelle St. Clair.
And today we watch Junior, 1994. As part of a fertility research project, a male scientist agrees to carry a pregnancy in his own body. Let's watch.
That's great. I feel like I've lost my perception of what a good day is like.
Like weather-wise or just emotionally?
I guess both.
Yeah, fair. It's been a rough old week, but you got a new car.
I got a new car.
These are my Michelle updates. You don't get to tell them.
Okay.
I get to tell them.
Great.
Michelle updates. You got a new car.
I did. It's the exact same as my old car.
You got a lot of work done this week because you've had a lot of deadlines and you're doing great.
That's true. I met the deadlines, which is good.
You've been watching some nice TV. You bought a new iPad.
That's true. It hasn't arrived yet, so I can't update on what the experience is like. But it's that new iPad Air, the one that looks like the Pro.
Yeah. I
loved that Pro design, but when they came up with the Air, I'm like, this is it, because now I can pay $1,000 less for it.
Nice.
We
also did some gardening yesterday.
Yeah.
What a productive week you have had, Michelle.
Well, until Sunday and Monday, I was working like 3 weeks nonstop. And I didn't really take those days off by choice. They were just days off that happened.
Yeah. You needed them.
I guess I did, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I finished uni, as I mentioned, so now I have free time. I can do things. We're going to watch X-Files this summer.
Hell yeah.
I'm so fucking excited for that. Now I can make like social plans, not wake up with this like overwhelming sense of guilt that I should be doing everything in my power to get the best mark possible at uni, which was not going to happen ever.
An overwhelming sense of guilt. Wait,
I'm singing Doctor Who. What are you singing?
The X-Files.
Yeah, I love the X-Files.
You're doing dun-dun-dun-dun. I'm doing na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah, love it. Sci-fi, man. It's so cool.
Fucking Christ. Actually, on the note of sci-fi, did you see Jonathan Nolan is like show running a HBO series about Foundation by Isaac Asimov? Okay. I really like those books. I think they're really interesting and they hold a lot of, I don't know, they're foundational works of sci-fi. They're like responsible for how sci-fi is nowadays. And Jonathan Nolan is the kind of the better writer of the Nolan brothers. That's his whole thing. So I think he'll do it.
Yeah.
HBO has a history of making shows that like are really strong in the first season and then really kind of leave the cultural consciousness. Cough, cough, Westworld.
That got a lot of hype for the first season or two, and then it just kind of faded out.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just not talking to the right dude bros, though.
I asked someone, is it still good? And they were like, yeah. And that's not encouraging. It makes me think of when Breaking Bad finished when I was at film school and one of the teachers was like, what do you think is going to be the next Breaking Bad? And half the class was like, True Detective.
No!
And then season 2 came out.
Also, when you're talking about like finales, I was just thinking, I've been ruminating on this all week, the Schitt's Creek finale, which you haven't seen yet. But I really want, if anyone didn't enjoy the Schitt's Creek finale, please get in touch via our email, ratingdescending@gmail.com. I plugged it properly for the first time. You're welcome.
Yay!
But I didn't like the ending of Schitt's Creek, and I have very particular reasons about that. And I want to argue about it with someone. I want someone to tell me why I'm wrong. So if anyone has strong opinions on that show, let me know.
Is it just a case of it's something that's really well liked, but you didn't like it? So you really want someone to convince you the way in which it is actually good?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that, like, I understand why people like it. It's just not enough for me. And I can't go into it because you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, yeah, it's heartwarming, I guess. But also the actual things that they learned as characters didn't pay off for me properly.
I've really enjoyed season 4 and 5 of that show. It does definitely feel like I'm like, this is a show for people who are kind of already living a more comfortable life.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it has, like, I don't think it's for rich people, but I also don't think it's for people who are struggling.
This is the thing about TV shows. In TV shows, character is everything. In a film, plot is everything.
Yeah.
So in a TV show, you can kind of get away with like hammering down on the same like tropes and jokes and like formulas. And Schitt's Creek isn't fresh or original. It's not.
Yeah.
But it has really good characters.
Yeah.
And we watch it because we're like, what would they do in this situation that we've seen in 100 times in other sitcoms? So I like, for me, the appeal of Schitt's Creek is just watching these very distinct, well fleshed out characters react to situations. That's why we watch it. But the plot was never for me very strong at all. If anything, there was times when I was like, why did they go that way? Why did they choose that to happen? That doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm keen to see it.
Yeah.
You also started Silicon Valley.
I started Silicon Valley and I love it. I'm only 3 episodes in, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's real good.
It's good, right?
Real good. I really like TJ Miller. And we realized that, yeah, you are Richard and I am the awful TJ Miller.
It's one of the few shows I think gets away with its occasional dude bro energy because it's kind of making a point about Silicon Valley culture being very dude bro-y.
From what I've seen, it hasn't yet, so I'm keen for that.
Yeah, that point kind of becomes more obvious later.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you're just like, and then it cements itself a little
So
bit.
I loved the bit when Richard was leaving and he's like all panicked and jittery, and then TJ Miller just yells like, "Don't forget to be an asshole." And I was like, I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We relate to those characters.
Yeah.
And that's cute.
I too am panicked and angry.
And I too am an asshole.
That's it. That's our dynamic.
Woo!
Hey!
In the words of Dennis Leary, John Wayne's not dead. He's frozen.
In the words of Dennis Leary, as told originally by Bill Hicks, John Wayne's not dead.
He's frozen. Guess what we watched this week? Did we tell you in the opening intro just about 5 minutes ago? Maybe, but I'm going to remind you right now. This week we watched Junior.
I love how now we're a morning...
1994 Junior, 4.6 stars on IMDb today.
I was so excited to watch this movie.
Me too. I watched this movie a lot as a kid. It was definitely one of those movies that was always on like Channel 7 or Channel 9. And it would come on every couple, like, 3 or 4 months.
I'd never seen it.
Really?
I'd never seen it. I'd heard of it. It's pretty infamous as a movie, but I'd never seen it.
Look, it's got a very distinct shtick and premise that you can't forget, which I also think is the reason that it kind of got as panned as it did. Is that people are uncomfortable seeing a pregnant man.
Well, I feel like people weren't as into Ivan Reitman's Schwarzenegger Mpreg fanfic film as much as he wanted them to be.
It's not like he wrote the film, but he did commission someone to. No, yeah, it's the last of his trilogy of Arnie comedies. And they're all really strange in their own way. I mean, Twins, for me, like, Twins sucked, but I liked it a lot. And it's the most ridiculous premise of Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger are long-lost brothers.
Yeah.
And then there's Kindergarten Cop, which was my favorite. And it had Pamela Reed, who was Angela in this film.
Oh, right, yeah.
Who's also Leslie Knope's mom in Parks and Rec.
Yes.
And yeah, he's the Kindergarten Cop. And then there was this one where he is impregnated by Danny DeVito, technically.
It really cemented to me, he can't act. He also didn't govern very well, so I don't know what he can do apart from build bodies.
Yeah, it's just build bodies. He's a massive galvanization freak.
He can't... he can't act. He was really quite awful.
Sorry, it's not Schwarzenegger, it's Schwarzenegger's monster. Thank you very much.
Fucking Christ. That was who the governor of California was.
Yeah, they're a really strange trio of films, but they're definitely like the classic 90s films that were played on free-to-air TV all the time.
Yeah.
Or 80s and 90s films. But this one was definitely the worst of the three. I think even the director, who is Ivan Reitman, he even said that this was probably the worst, but his favorite, which is strange.
To be fair...
So you're right. Maybe it is just his personal fanfic of, God, I'd love to see Arnie pregnant.
To be fair, I don't think this was a good movie, but if I made it, it would be my favorite movie.
Yes. Yeah. Just some general facts about this. Arnie is the protagonist. He plays an Austrian doctor. Danny DeVito is his colleague. And the love interest is played by Emma Thompson, who is also a scientist.
Which was surprising, but this was also before Emma Thompson was allowed to do kind of whatever she wanted.
This was right as her career was peaking. Like it was taking off, sorry.
Yeah.
Because she was about to do Sense and Sensibility, and she'd just done a lot of hits in the UK, and she didn't really end up staying in Hollywood. I think this was her like dipping her toe in, being like, do I want to do these kinds of films? And probably realizing very quickly that she was too smart for them.
Well, I think it's more than anything that she's always had different goals. So like her priority wasn't to be famous. I think it's always been like using that as a vehicle to doing other things.
I think it's that she's very selective about the work that she does.
Yeah.
And she wants it to be good work. And she tried this and went, this was kind of shit. And this isn't anything that I'm interested in. Because right after this is when they started pre-production on Sense and Sensibility. And that was something she had really wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's almost as if she needed the paycheck from this film to make Sense and Sensibility.
Well, that's what I
which
mean.
is
Like,
fantastic. And thank you for my birthday present of the Sense and Sensibility diaries and script, because they're wonderful.
you are welcome.
It's a wonderful novel and a wonderful film.
Christmas won't top or meet that expectation.
What you getting me? What are you getting me for
I
Christmas?
don't know. That's why it won't meet.
You don't-
top it.
You don't know
No, I don't.
yet.
I don't know
That's
yet.
so funny and so interesting that you don't care enough
What are you
to
getting me?
think it. Oh, what am I not getting you, Michelle? It's a big secret. Can't tell you.
A child's laughter.
No. A sense of purpose.
A sense of purpose.
A will to live.
Well, yeah. A visit from my grandmother.
Oh.
But you're not getting me that.
Well, as luck would have it, Cynthia!
Wow!
Michelle, this is your life.
I wish I knew the any of the music from any of the game shows where somebody comes down.
Yeah, all I know is how to be a millionaire. How to be a millionaire. How to make $1 million. Wait, who wants to be a millionaire? Got it, made it.
How to make $1 million.
Do 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 do.
Oh yeah, that's how that one goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's just sort of sitting there hunched over.
Yeah. And he's sweating all the time.
Is that
Eddie
one of the-
McGuire always sounded like he needed a sip of water. He always seemed like he was smacking his lips, just in desperate need of a glass
Was
of
he
water.
also like a sports commentator or something?
Yeah.
Was,
I mean, he
okay,
owns
yeah.
the Collingwood AFL team. And I know
What?
that because I want to go for Collingwood, but every time I think about it, I remember that he owns it and I don't want to anymore.
If you go by who owns the teams, you're guaranteed to be disappointed.
Yeah, I think I should just give up on trying to be interested in AFL in general. It was a nice notion that I had. I was like, I'm in Melbourne now.
Well, they're all owned by white businessmen.
Yeah, I know. But maybe there's like some person of color somewhere.
No, not an AFL.
A woman.
No,
No.
Abby, no.
Anyway, Emma Thompson being too good for this film.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito giving one of the meanest performances we've ever
Yeah.
seen. His character was mean.
I thought it was weird because at the beginning, he's like the nice one.
Yeah.
He seems to care about his patients a lot. He really wants it to go well. He seems like the nice guy.
I mean, he is still meant to be the nice guy. It's just that you and I picked up on the fact that every scene was him kind of belittling and patronizing Hess.
Yeah. Hess just wanted to have a baby.
Yeah.
And Danny DeVito was constantly shaming him. He was a little sexist. He was very problematic in a lot of ways.
The film was definitely quite sexist in a lot of ways because they were just making fun of how hormonal women get when they're pregnant and how silly it is. Because now big, strong Arnie is crying and just wants to take a nap and wants to come out with him. And
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like being like, look how dumb he is now that he's more woman-like. And you're like, this is wrong.
Well, I also pointed out that like the movie has no functional understanding of medicine in general, let alone the female
to that.
body.
Let's
okay.
get to that because there's so much stuff to touch on there.
Okay, we'll get to that.
I'll do the overview. Hopefully it is succinct. Just again, as some general information, this is 1994. Director was Ivan Reitman, who had done stuff like Stripes, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, the Arnie trilogy, as I mentioned. Also, he is the father of Jason Reitman, who did Juno and Up in the Air. So
He's fantastic, and
He's
Jason
lovely.
Reitman was good for like 4 films, and
Yeah.
now he's kind of rubbish.
And also, Ivan Reitman has produced so many things. Like, he's directed some good stuff, but he's produced so much good stuff.
He and Harold Ramis were like the heads of comedy in the
I thought it
80s.
was Harold Ramis.
I don't. Maybe.
Whatever. Here's my overview. Austrian research geneticist Hess and his colleague Arbogast invent a fertility drug. Also, Arbogast is more of a doctor than a scientist, just on the side.
He's an OBGYN, isn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
With the drug unapproved by the FDA and Hess's project defunded, Arbogast convinces Hess to act as the subject for their experiment. Arbogast steals an egg named Junior from Dr. Redden, a new doctor who has arrived to replace Hess. As weeks go by, Hess endures the pains of pregnancy and becomes hormonal. Arbogast finds out his ex-wife Angela is pregnant and has to endure 2 pregnant friends. When the time comes for Hess to end the experiment, Hess continues to take the drug and decides to carry the pregnancy to term. Initially annoyed, Arbogast agrees to keep it hidden. Hess develops a relationship with Dr. Redden and reveals his pregnancy to Angela. Hess soon realizes that the junior egg is Redden's own. Redden is stunned and angry when this is revealed. Disguised as a woman, Hess hides in a retreat for expectant mothers. Redden reconciles with him, telling Hess it doesn't matter who is pregnant because he is the father and she is the mother. Hess experiences abdominal pain from the start of labor, and he has an emergency C-section. Hess gives birth to a healthy baby girl. Arbogast delivers Angela's child, and they reconcile to raise the kids together. What I left out in this overview, because I found it really hard to string in, is the antagonist in the film, who is this scientist called Baines, and he wants to basically destroy their experiment. He doesn't want it to be done. And to be honest, he's kind of in the right because he's part of the FDA and he's saying what you're doing is illegal.
No, right. He's the head of the research department at the university.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he's saying that what you're doing is illegal and unapproved and you shouldn't do it. And Danny DeVito's like, fuck you. And the whole finale when Hess is giving birth is that Bane is trying to set them up and get cameras to discover that Arnie is pregnant. And they basically trick him and they have the pregnancy without getting revealed and Baines gets fired.
Yeah.
And it's a ridiculous storyline.
I mean, this movie has the really weird stance of the villains are the university professors and government bureaucracy, and the good guys are the people who want to work around federal drug regulations.
They're pharmaceutical manufacturers that don't want to follow the law.
I can't be on their side.
This is why Danny DeVito is evil.
I know. He's that, what is that guy? Martin Shkreli, the guy who made what's the diabetes drug, insulin 1,000 times more expensive.
So fucking evil.
Danny DeVito wants that guy to get more rich. That's the movie.
Did you ever watch the documentary Sicko by Michael Moore?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And
we watched it together.
Did I show it to you?
Yeah.
Because I remember in 2014 I was watching it and crying, and then I think I must have showed it to you. There's that whole sequence where these people are talking about the medication that they take, how much it costs every month, and how hard it is to afford it. And then Michael Moore gets them on a boat and he sails them across to Cuba. Then they get there and they go to a hospital and they buy their medication and they're all in tears because this woman is like, this packet of drugs cost me $300. In Cuba, they sold it to me for $1.50.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well,
I think about that woman all the time and the way she's just crying because she realizes how much the healthcare system in America has betrayed her.
Well, in this movie, Danny DeVito wants to make what I never really get what it's meant to do. It's just meant to assist pregnancy as a drug and then completely dominate. They even say the FDA will bow to pressure if they sell it in Europe first.
It's a fertility drug that is meant to prevent miscarriages.
Right.
That's the aim of it.
Right.
I think that's what they said at the beginning of the film. It's meant to prevent and basically make miscarriages impossible. Right. It enhances the pregnancy. It makes it safer.
Yeah.
Which, hey, doesn't sound like a bad drug at all. That doesn't sound sinister. I wonder how much it would be sold at and how much expecting mothers can't afford it.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is that these fucking university heads are evil for trying to tell Danny DeVito not to do something.
They just want these regulations in the way. He's got to do the experiments ethically.
So from that, it's inherently flawed. So it's hard to be on Danny DeVito's side. And as we said, he's just kind of, as soon as Hess gets pregnant and Arnie starts showing and becoming hormonal, he's such a dick. He's like one of those husbands that is like, why are you upset that you're carrying our very heavy and difficult child in your belly, in your body that you're going to have to expel in a very painful way? How dare you be upset because your actual hormones are changing, that you can't help the way that you're feeling, that you're having a chemical reaction to the fact that I put a baby in you.
Yeah. I feel like there's 3 different times he yells at Arnie, you're not a woman. He never declares himself a woman. Danny DeVito is just angry at him for that.
Yeah.
It's so bonkers.
Also, like, this is his line of work. How does he not understand that he'll be hormonal and upset? How does he not expect this? Why is he not more sympathetic?
But he's giving him hormones.
This is his job, is to be sympathetic to expectant mothers, and he's bad at it. And then his ex-wife is like, hey, Danny, the whole ex-wife story is nuts. Angela gets pregnant.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh my God, that's great news. And she's like, but it's not yours. And he's like, oh, that's terrible news. I don't want to help you or treat you. You can go to a different doctor. And you're like, okay, dick move.
No, his initial point was that you're not, as a doctor, you're not, a lot of doctors have the policy of not treating someone that close to them.
But I feel like he was going to do it until she said it wasn't his.
That is true.
It seems like he changed his mind. And I was like, ooh, that's weird. But yeah, so he's mean to his ex-wife. He's mean to Arnie. And he hates the fact that he has to follow the law.
He's a bad guy.
Fuck the law sometimes. Am I right? ACAB, rebel for life. You're tearing me apart, Ma, etc.
You nailed it.
What can I say? I'm a free spirit. But also, don't do what you're doing, Danny DeVito. So Danny DeVito, I know you're a sweet person. Why are you such a dick in this film?
I know. It was so weird. He just seemed...
Shout out to Frank Reynolds, my king. He's like my father, but shorter with dark hair.
Yeah.
Got big Chris Ward energy.
Well, he doesn't even have dark hair anymore. It's mostly grey.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, he's definitely the true villain of this film. Frank Langella as Baines is really just... He even says at one point, like, I just want to be part of this.
Oh my God.
And he wants to, like, make this genuine medical miracle a publicly known thing.
Yeah.
And they won't let him so that they can sell it. I hate them.
Also, so the whole pregnancy is nuts, right? Because he has no womb. This isn't a medication that gives him a womb to carry a child. They placed it in front of his tummy.
Yeah, we kept screaming at the screen, where is it going?
Yeah.
Where is it?
He gives him an ultrasound. He's like, there's a gap. I'm going to put a baby there. And we were like, what?
He says at one point it's just in his abdomen.
That means that, like, it's just... He's put the fertilized egg into a nether space of his tummy and it will just die.
So not only is there not that many pockets of loose space in your body.
Also, he's got a tight body. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's no loose space.
But also, as he gets more pregnant, all the muscles just magically push away? What happens to all of his organs?
It's literally that, like, it's his normal body and then there's a baby in front of it. Yeah. And there's no womb, there's no sac that it's in. The baby is just there.
It's just there.
Very, very purposefully did they just not show how they cut the baby out of him.
No.
It was just his face being like, and then it was the baby crying.
At one point you see a 3D diagram that he's like secretly looking at, and it really is a normal Arnold Schwarzenegger baby body and a baby
Arnold Schwarzenegger baby.
A normal Arnold Schwarzenegger body and a baby floating in front of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, where is it? Where is it going?
By the way, speaking of Arnold Schwarzenegger baby, there's literally a scene where he has a dream sequence and he's holding up a baby and it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger's face on it in the most disturbing visual you've ever seen.
He's not a very... his face is hard to see on the best of days.
They squished it too to fit it onto the size of a baby's. It was just so disturbing. I think a lot of people are like, this film is disturbing and scary because it's a man getting pregnant, and it's like, fuck you, that's mildly transphobic as well. I feel like I've had to say 5 times in this podcast that so-and-so is transphobic, but it's because these films suck and they're thoughtless. But either way, that's not the disturbing part. The disturbing part is Arnold Schwarzenegger's superimposed face on a baby.
Because there's real men who've been pregnant. There's tons of trans men who've gotten pregnant.
When I was doing research into this, I was reading about one of the most famous trans men in the world that has carried 4 children. And it was just a sensational news headline because he was a father of 4 with his wife and gave birth to all of them. And they were like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Arnold Schwarzenegger gets more acceptance than any of those trans men.
Let's talk about that actually for a second, in that we were delighted in this film for a lot of reasons. Mainly, the turning point for us was when Arnie goes to that women's retreat to carry the baby to term in privacy and secrecy. And he arrives there and he's now wearing a wig and is in a dress. And we were like, oh, okay, right, all right.
Yeah.
I get it now. Okay, now he's trying to be passed off as a woman, so it makes it easier. And then when he gets there, he tells the woman this ridiculous story about how he was like a gymnast and he had to take like drugs that changed his appearance.
No, he had to take tests. His story was that he was an East German athlete who was given testosterone, a real thing that happened in East Germany and Russia, and caused a lot of accredited cases of cis women with gender dysphoria because they're pumped full of testosterone.
So he gives her that story, and the woman just gets up and just says, "Don't worry, you're beautiful." And we were like, "Oh!" And it wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke.
And then what happened was the most sweet, like the sweetest fucking montage
really
ever
genuine
of all these women in this retreat embracing Arnie, doing exercises with Arnie, never questioning Arnie's appearance. Arnie is just one of them, and we were like, this is the most trans positive thing I've ever seen.
I know. For a movie that occasionally dabbled in transphobia up until this point, this was so trans positive. It was one of the most like affirming experiences I've seen on screen.
And then to cap it off, Emma Thompson, who by the way was a fucking babe in this film.
Oh my god.
She was wearing like little like knitted cardigans with those high-waisted pants. She dressed the way I want to look, but I don't have the confidence for it.
Yes.
She dresses, anyway, so pretty. But her character, Dr. Redden, she gave the egg that impregnates Arnie, and Arnie realizes it halfway through and tells her, and she gets really upset because he's just used her egg. Junior.
Yeah.
Junior. And she comes to the retreat and she's like, hey, I've thought about it and it's my baby too. And even though like you're carrying the child, it's not a big issue because I'm still the mom and you're still the dad. And he was like, yeah. And you're like, oh shit, this is so cute.
Ivan Reitman, ally of the 90s.
And then she's like, well, I want to have sex with someone. Like, I want to have sex with you because I'm not going to not have sex with the father of my child. And we were just like, oh. And then she like fucks him, pregnant. He's pregnant. And she's like, cool, whatever, let's fuck. And then at the end, when he's giving birth, he calls her and she's like, I'm on my way. And you were like, are we really watching a film where this woman just got a call from her boyfriend saying, I'm in labor? And she said, cool, I'm on my way. And I was like, yeah, we are.
After she has sex with him, he's asleep and she pulls back the covers to look at his pregnant belly and she kisses it. It's so sweet.
It's so sweet. She's like so accepting of it.
So affirming.
This is a film where the normal gender roles were completely reversed and it was not a big deal. Well, they just made it really sweet.
Except to Danny DeVito's character. Except to Arbogast, who could not deal with it.
Yeah, Arbogast.
Arbogast.
Yeah. 100%. He was the villain.
He totally was. He was the only person who had a problem with it.
Yeah. Oh, it was so sweet in that respect. So there's a lot of things this film did right, but I get why I'm not sure it needs to be on this list, but I get why it's not great.
Yeah, I mean, like...
It's not really funny.
On the note, by the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, they do repeatedly say that he is taking a lot of hormones as well with his thing. In fact, they even mention that it would be, as they said in very 90s language, it's enough if it's the amount that you would take if you were planning a sex change operation, which outdated language, whatever. But I'm like, he's transitioning and the film has no knowledge of how medicine works.
No, because I think as you pointed out, he should have like titties by the end.
He really should.
Yeah.
It's going over the course of 9 months, he'd have titties.
Yeah, and he'd be able to lactate.
Yeah.
Because he's giving birth.
He'd look different.
He would look so different. His face would be softer. His features would be softer.
Yeah.
He would gain more weight as well.
And I don't blame him for being emotional. It's second puberty.
Yeah.
While he's pregnant. But they pass it off as like, that's what women are like. I'm like, you're wrong.
Yeah. But it's so weird. Again, like this film is stupid and wasn't very funny and had some problems in it. So dumb. But also like... It had some really nice stuff.
I know.
It really confused me.
It was so weird because it was like normal 90s, almost like those like late 90s, early 2000s Jim Carrey movies.
Yeah.
You know, like that classic family comedy vibe.
Liar, Liar in particular.
But it's like that archetype of movie, but then it's also just way more batshit.
Yeah. And like it doesn't have enough. I think the main problem with it is that it has a lot of like nice emotional moments in it. But then the whole time you're thinking, but how is he pregnant?
Yes!
Like, the whole premise is inherently flawed, so whatever they do right in the film doesn't matter.
It's really hard to move past it because they really didn't nail it.
No, not at all. Not at all. Also, just Arnie is not a good actor.
Yeah.
He's not. But the thing is, he is enjoyable in a lot of ways. Like, I loved him in Kindergarten Cop when I was little. In Junior, I can see the appeal because he's just known for being like doing these big rugged roles, and suddenly he's pregnant and really soft and effeminate, which is fun to watch. But He sucks at delivering lines. He sucks at delivering jokes.
Well, I also resent it because it started the long-running trend of action star does kids movie with like the pacifier, the
Vin
tooth
Diesel.
fairy.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hate. That's the worst genre of movie.
It really is. There's also our lovely friend Lauren, shout out to my best mate Lauren, love you so much. She was begging us to do this Hulk Hogan film called, I think it was called The Nanny. I'll have to look it up. But it was about Hulk Hogan being like a babysitter. I don't know if he was a female babysitter, but it looked shocking, and it's got like 3 point something on IMDb. But I really, really want to watch that as like just an aside to this list. It didn't get enough votes to be on this list, but I would love to watch and do an episode about it because it's totally within that genre that you hate.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's I can't stand that genre, and I resent this movie for being part of it.
Yeah.
But it also went in a very different direction. I guess the thing is, this could have been like, it could have gone two different directions. It could have been a straight up and down family comedy and done the least interesting choices with this premise, or it could have been kind of a more interesting, not quite art house, but like, let's actually look at the implications of this.
They could have taken it more seriously, but they didn't.
And well, what it was a weird mix of both.
Yeah.
They didn't really want to do either. It is Joe Biden the movie. It's a centrist.
Also, I was thinking at the end when Emma Thompson is pregnant in the last scene, they're on vacation together, all of them. They've got their kids. And Emma Thompson is now pregnant because she's going to have their second kid. And I was thinking how fucking ideal that would be. If you have like a partner and you're both like different genders, you're different sexes with each other, if it's like a hetero relationship.
Yeah.
I wish we lived in a world where men and women could carry the kid. You know, it'd be so much more equal. The fact that work is shared with each other.
Yeah.
When she reconciles with Arnie, I was like, if I ever had a kid, fuck yeah, that's the ideal situation, is that my male partner has to carry it instead of me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could relate.
But also the best scenario would be to not have a child, because fuck that. For me, personally.
Just for you.
Just for me. When I'm 40, I'll either adopt a dog or a baby.
Flip of the coin.
Yeah, we'll see how I feel. It's probably going to be a dog.
I don't know. I feel like you hate dogs more than you hate babies.
It's real equal a lot of the time. And I don't hate dogs. Dogs are way cuter than babies. But it depends on the dog, you know? Sometimes you just meet a real goodie. Mostly because they act like a cat. Anyway, you ever just look at a dog and you're like, it could have been a cat?
No, I don't. I know you do, but I don't do that.
What? This is not a dog-hating podcast, except, you know, they're not the best. Stop acting like your ugly dog is the cutest thing in the world. It looks like a rat. Anyway.
Yeah. It's that thing of every time I see a pug, I'm like, I know it's cute, but it also makes me feel sad.
No, it's just a reminder that we played God one too many times.
And lost. We played God and we lost.
I fought the God and the God won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want some trivia?
I'd love some trivia.
I thought that. I could sense it, you know? Here's a bit of trivia for you. Sexy. It's like a husky voice.
Yeah, I like that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger spent time in obstetricians' waiting rooms to learn how pregnant women behave, which I find nuts because can you imagine rocking up for your appointment and there's just Arnie sitting in a corner being like, hello.
I just want to see what you look like. That's exactly what he sounds like. I think that was pretty solid, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, you had too much emotion in your voice. Dial it back a little bit. Can you imagine he's just like, he's just watching the way you're behaving, the way you're sitting? I mean, they're just sitting.
Yeah.
Not doing anything. I
also don't believe that because I feel like that would have translated into anything in his performance.
Yeah, I also just don't. That sounds like it would. That sounds too thoughtful of Arnie. Like when you know anything about Arnold Schwarzenegger, it doesn't seem like thoughtful is his kind of thing. Like I can't remember. The other week I was looking up Arnold Schwarzenegger for no reason at all, and I didn't realize how fucked his personal life is.
Yeah.
The way that he cheated on his wife of like 30 years with their housekeeper, had a son secretly with the housekeeper, kept it a secret, sent money to the housekeeper and her child, and then years later his wife found out that she was living with his lover the whole time. That's fucked.
There's a reason he ran as a Republican.
Oh, dead set. An early cut of this movie ended with an abortion scene.
Oh my God.
That was nixed by the studio after the subject was deemed too politically sensitive. Extensive reshoots were required to make the final movie work. I want to know what that abortion storyline was.
Yeah, who gets the abortion?
Exactly. Because in the middle of the film, Arnie's like, I want to keep it.
Yeah.
So why would that happen?
It can't be his abortion. That's the movie.
I know.
Maybe it was the wife. The ex-wife.
She was also too far along.
No, but well, yeah, maybe.
And she wanted it as
But
well. There's
maybe that's-
nothing that indicated she wanted an abortion.
Well, maybe that's what the reshoots were.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Super weird.
I feel like it's less that it's politically sensitive as much as it is a weird choice for this movie.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger wore a pregnancy suit before filming his scenes to get more in touch with his character. So again, it was another strangely thoughtful thing that I couldn't believe Arnie would do.
Why didn't he wear it during the scenes?
He'd wear it before shooting the scenes with it on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
To like get into character.
I'm just a fucking idiot. Okay, yeah, that
There
makes
isn't
sense.
that much trivia about this film though, because it was a very smooth production.
Yeah.
Everyone just kind of did it to get their money and they kind of enjoyed it.
By the books.
Yeah, very by the books.
This is the weird thing about this movie. It is an average movie, a normal, just sort of, if you went for an archetypical Hollywood general movie from the 90s, this would fit it.
Yeah.
And yet, most of them don't feature Schwarzenegger Mpreg. So it's so weird.
So weird. And do you want some reviews?
Yeah, I'd love some reviews.
All right. I've got 4 of them for you. Just as a general overview, the film received lukewarm reviews with a 36% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. The critical consensus reads, even with an abundance of talent behind and in front of the camera, Junior just doesn't quite deliver enough laughs to nurse its zany high concept idea, which is exactly what you said as well. Like it is a zany high concept idea, but it's not funny enough to carry through as a comedy. Notably, Roger Ebert was a fan of the film, giving it 3.5 out of 4 stars and maintaining that, I know this sounds odd, but Schwarzenegger is perfect for the role. Observe his acting carefully in Junior and you'll see skills that many serious actors could only envy.
Wait, I was on his side until his reason was Schwarzenegger's performance?
Ebert and his partner Gene Siskel gave the film 2 thumbs up on their television show. This is like the one thing I question with Roger Ebert. What's going on here, man? Have you just got the hots for Arnie? Don't blame you, but just be honest. Comedian and former Mystery Science Theater 3000 host Michael J. Nelson named the film the second worst comedy ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
There's so many worse ones. We've already watched far worse comedies.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly think this is one of the best movies on this list.
Yeah, I don't actually think it should be on the list. Same with Vampire in Brooklyn. It's weird that we've done 2 off the back of each other that we think should be not on the list.
Yeah, well, because I feel like their movies... Well, Vampire in Brooklyn had the same problem. It could have been a more, like, interesting, arty, indie response to that idea, or it could have been a more straight-up-and-down horror movie, but it was sort of weirdly both.
It's another issue with tone.
Yeah.
And with genre.
Yeah.
And it kind of boiled down to that for both of these films. If they had just stuck with one side of it and tried to nail that, it would have been way better.
It's really hard to sneak indie concepts into blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
And like notably people like Nolan get away with it by kind of watering down a lot of the characterization in the process, even though I like his movies.
Yeah.
I think Denis Villeneuve can do it okay. But also, I don't know, some of his movies are very slow.
Oh, God. They really are.
So,
I love Sicario, but I will never in my life watch Enemy. I don't want to watch a big nonsense film about giant spider ladies. No, thank you. Fuck that.
I just never really want to bother with Blade Runner 2049. It's one of those movies where everyone's first reaction is, oh, I love the cinematography. I'm
That's
like,
not
so
good.
it wasn't a good movie. It was a good photo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just because something looks pretty doesn't mean it's a good fucking film. Anyway, Desmond Thomas of Washington Post said, for the right audience, Junior may deliver, but there's a whole lot of pregnancy to go through first. And then Luke Thompson of New York Times said, to quote Last Action Hero, big mistake. I've got 2 IMDb reviews today because I couldn't decide between the 2 of them. This first one is a 10 out of 10 review, and the title of it is Life-Changing Experience. This was a review done by Sergeant Posterior.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
This movie changed me. It taught me that a family is someone that everyone can have, no matter who you are or what your background is. True love is something that is not often found in a movie nor in real life, but this movie made me wish to strive to find that one true person who I can hopefully have a relationship with as good as this one here. I shed tears over this. I laughed, I cried, I formed inseparable bonds with my dear friends. I don't think I will ever quite love someone as much as I love this movie. This is a timeless classic. By the way, there's no punctuation in this.
Oh my God.
This is one long sentence. This is a timeless classic that I hope will stay with the world for decades to come. Thank you for reading this, and thank you, Junior, for bringing light back into my life. 10 out of 10.
Oh, it feels like it must be sarcastic, but if it's not, I don't know. I'm kind of on this guy's side.
Yeah. And then this is the second one. 10 out of 10. The subject is interesting concept. And this was left by Bevo136783. Here is the review. I like the bit how Arnold Schwarzenegger got pregnant. 10 out of 10.
You know what? They're right.
They're fucking right.
They're fucking right.
I liked that bit too. Thanks, Beaver.
I loved that bit.
Loved that bit.
That's my favorite bit. Oh my God.
If I was to give this very silly film a rating, I would give it a 4 out of 10.
A 4?
What would you give it?
I might give it like a 6 or a 6.5. Because that's the thing. I feel like we established early on, 5, we're going on the scale where 5 is average, not 7 is average, right?
Actually, yeah, you're right. I would give it a higher mark.
Yeah, because I don't think it was below average. I don't think it was bad. I just think it wasn't great. So I'd give it a 6, maybe 6.5.
I think I might go up and I'll give it a 5.
Yeah?
Just a solid 5 out of 10.
Solid 5?
Really in the middle.
Because
it did some really good things for me.
Yeah, for me it would have been a 5 because it was just sort of weird but bland until the third act, which for me kind of really brought it home.
Yeah.
So I'd give it a 6 because I'm like, I don't know, I'd probably watch it again. Yeah. I thought it was all right. It just wasn't great.
Yeah. No, it was a kind of wholesome film. Well, yeah. That was Junior.
That was Junior.
What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are watching Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, God. Well, at least you've seen Friday the 13th, the first one.
Yeah, so I can really sort of jump straight into episode 8.
Yeah, I don't think you'll miss that much. Just a lot of Jason doing bad things.
I really hope that it's much like the Muppets Take Manhattan. That's my main...
I'm hoping it's the Angels Take Manhattan from Doctor Who. Sorry, just bringing it full circle. Woo!
I'm just excited for all the people who can take on Manhattan.
I know I certainly couldn't. I went there for 4 days and it freaked the shit out of me.